this was when the 90s became the 90s. To me, this is like one of the first movies that came out, because there's always that meme, you know, the 80s or the 70s ended in 1982 and the 80s ended in 1990. Yeah, this was when the 80s ended, was this movie right here.
Let's talk about the best action movie of the 90s. Would you agree?
Yep. Yeah, I think so. The Last Boy Scout? Yes.
Yeah. Directed by Tony Scott and written by Shane
Black.
Yeah.
Okay, here's something I couldn't remember, and I don't want to take any credit away or whatever. I introduced you to this movie, right? Was it me that introduced you to this? Okay.
No.
You introduced me to this.
I don't know. My memory's fuzzy with that. I know my mom rented it.
We both watched it and talked about it at the same time, probably?
I think so.
Okay.
Because we're both familiar with it already. And we bonded over it, I think. Over Milo.
Okay. Yeah. Because, well, and that's why I said I didn't want to take any credit because I couldn't remember. But, like, when I finally had access to like movie channels and shit, because I lived out in the country and we didn't have satellite dishes until whenever, this was like one of the first movies I got to watch because it was on HBO or something, and it was like, fuck, dude, this is the goddamn best movie I've ever seen in my whole fucking life. Like, it was, and I sound like I meme when I say this, but I'm really not. Like, every time I watch this fucking movie, I'm just like mostly smiling from ear to ear, just for any fucking reason, anything going on. The goddamn opening credits, the goddamn introduction to both the primary characters, the goddamn dialogue he has with his wife, the goddamn dialogue he has with the boss who doesn't believe anything he says, the goddamn the bad guys. Every bad guy is so unique, every single one except for maybe two of them, which I'll bring some things up about that. We had one of the first appearances I've ever seen of, and I always forget his name, the guy from Sons of Anarchy.
Kim Coates.
Okay. I knew it was like a girl's name. I didn't mean it like that, but yeah. And he's in this for just a very tiny second, but he leaves an impact. Like, there's just so fucking much about this movie that I love. It's a perfect time capsule of just like, this was when the 90s became the 90s. To me, this is like one of the first movies that came out, because there's always that meme, you know, the 80s or the 70s ended in 1982 and the 80s ended in 1990. Yeah, this was when the 80s ended, was this fucking movie right here. There's a clear difference to me in like this movie, and a lot of people compare this to Die Hard, obviously, because, you know, he started basically being an action actor after this movie. But then Tony Scott, what was his first movie? Top Gun? Was that the first movie he directed?
I don't know if it's the first, but it's probably like one of the biggest ones that he's directed. Like,
The Hunger. But yeah, so like, okay, so the movies he directed, but until The Last Boy Scout, was Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Revenge, Days of Thunder, and then this movie. And then right after that, one of the next greatest fucking movies of all time, True Fucking Romance. Like, yeah. You know, his movies are always a vibe because every frame in his movie is two colors. It's like orange and blue. Like, you never know, because every movie he does is basically in like LA, you know what I mean? So just that pairing on its own, and like, you can feel the cocaine that went into this movie. Like, but did it hurt the movie? It was not well received. This movie did not do very good at the box office. The film underperformed expectations given the star power hype surrounding the then record price paid for the screenplay by Shane Black, which was $1.75 million. Holy fucking shit. Guy got paid. It grossed $7.9 million in its opening weekend, and the total gross in the United States and Canada was $59.5 million. Internationally, the film grossed $55 million for a worldwide gross of $114.5 million. Reviews were mixed, and some critics cited the Christmas time release for such a violent Christmas time, wow, didn't know that, as a reason for its somewhat underwhelming box office. Although the film was not a blockbuster, it helped Bruce Willis recover his star status after the disastrous Hudson Hawk and became hugely popular in the video rental market. Okay, that was something else I couldn't remember if this was before or after Hudson Hawk. I'm glad I know it was after. I thought Hudson Hawk was like in 1990, but so with most of that shit being said out of the way, you tell me what you can remember for the first time you watched it and your first impact. Like, give me some of that information.
I don't know. I would just probably have to start at the beginning. Like you said, the opening credits. It's basically like Monday Night Football. Who sang that Monday Night Football song in the early '90s? Was
the original or in the movie?
Yeah. Well, not in the movie, but it's supposed to be a parody.
It was originally Hank Williams Jr. It was originally Hank Williams Jr.
So
but
it's like
Friday
this parody.
Friday night's a great night for football.
Exactly. It's like got this parody.
It's a fucking
of that.
vibe, though.
Yeah, it just like starts out there, and then you got like, it's got fucking Billy Blanks in the he's a football player in the opening, fucking Tybo Billy Blanks.
Yeah.
And it's just so over the top, like watching it now, and I was just thinking how wild it was when I was a kid. Like, you know, this guy's got so much pressure on him. He just whips out a gun with the, you know, running down the field, shooting other players, and then he just fucking shoots himself. I'm like, what the fuck?
Ain't life a bitch.
Ain't life a bitch.
Like, okay, so let's back that up a little bit. So this is the first indirect introduction to Milo's character, but like, and we'll talk about him definitely later, but like the fact that this dude is scared of the guy on the other end of that phone, like, hey, you're making a lot of money for us, but if you don't, I'm just gonna fucking kill you. Like, that's kind of weird to me that is that extreme, but okay, because it's like, wouldn't you just rather? Oh, I don't know. I feel like there's other ways to go about that shit. But okay, but that's the pace we're setting. That's the vibe. Fucking beautiful, like, and that okay. Just like how it's pouring fucking rain, all the shots and all the editing, like at this beginning of it, just the impact of all the football and all that stuff. It's like they're just building so much of that to that point where he's getting ready to kill these motherfuckers. Like, just how tense the beginning of the movie is, and then Friday night's a great night for football. Like, look, ain't life a bitch? He fucking splat, and he's. I mean, did you notice that when he fucking blows his head off? It shows him from the back, but you can see like the flap of his skin is hanging back off his head. Like,
God,
so,
damn.
I mean, you know, that was filmed a few different ways that probably prevent it. I'd have to look, but it probably had like a X rating cut or some shit. But what was when was the first time you remember seeing this movie? Like you said, you had your mom rent it or something?
Well, I didn't have my mom rent it. Like, I discovered movies just because my mom rented it, you know, and I would sit down and watch it, and I was like, wow, what the fuck is going on with this movie? Like, and I think that's one of the reasons I liked it as a kid. I mean, it is like very over the top, very exaggerated.
It's like a cartoon, you know, almost, a very violent one.
Like you were, and that's probably why it like appealed to me at such a young age for such a violent movie. And like you said, Tony Scott's directing, his use of like colors and lights and just the over the top characters, like, you know, like we're already, you know, hinting at Milo, like Taylor Negron's performance as Milo was just so fucking over the top. And he's like, you know, he's basically like the Joker to Bruce Willis's Batman, you know, like,
dude, he should have been on the poster of this fucking movie.
Yeah. He really sold it as, I mean, he's the main villain. He's probably not story-wise the main villain. He is like probably
Hey,
the upper echelon.
we gotta save him, Wes. We gotta save him. We'll
Yeah.
get to him. We
Yeah.
gotta lead into it because there's a lot of ground to cover between now and then. But no, I was just curious. Okay, do you remember like how old? Like, were you in high school? Was you in 8th grade? I think I was in like junior high the first time I watched this. I think I was in 7th or 8th grade.
I mean, I was probably
We were friends. Me and you were friends.
I probably watched it when it first came out on VHS because, like I said, my mom would rent movies. You know, I would probably watch them if she'd let me. It's like
so you probably literally watched it the same year T2 came out, yeah, because it was 91.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, there's certain things my mom wouldn't let me watch. She would watch Basic Instinct and Sharon Stone's flashing vag in it. I couldn't even go in the living room when she was watching
Beaver
it,
Pictures.
so.
Yep. Can't watch Beaver Pictures. Nope.
No, but I can
Mel
watch
Gibson's
a
ass
football
a lethal
player
weapon.
just destroy his fucking face with a
with a smile on his face.
Yeah,
Fucking and what a hell of a shot too, might I add. He got his first shot, his first pull of the trigger, full sprint in the rain, headshot through the mask. Perfect shot. Then the next shot, I think, was the guy's leg or the foot or something. Like, this motherfucker should have been, he probably was in the military. I don't know, but that was a hell of a shot. And then had the gun stay in the waistband. Like, anyways. But yeah, I think my first time watching it was then. Like, I was in at least junior high. I don't think it was a rental. It might have been. It's been a while, but I just remember this was one of those movies. It's like, I'm gonna watch this shit all the time because it was so good. And anytime I could, I did. But yeah, so so that's the after that, that's our then we get to our introduction with Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah, he is. Well, he's passed out in his car, and these kids like throw a dead squirrel on him. He wakes up and he's on the phone. He's like, "I think I fucked a squirrel to death."
Geez, you sound terrific. What'd you do last night?
I think I fucked a squirrel to death and I don't even remember it.
Just like one of the several amazing lines in this movie. And then he goes to his house where he finds out his wife is fucking his best friend and his boss, right? It's his boss too. And
it's the guy he gets all his contracts from, yeah. So here's our introduction to our intrepid hero, or one half of the intrepid heroes of the movie. Fucking got Joe Hallenbeck, played by Bruce Willis, who is suffering from some kind of like crazy thing right now where he doesn't even know who the fuck he is anymore or something. That sucks. I met this dude when I was in the military. He was a nice guy. He was nicer than most of the other celebrities that I had the fortune or misfortune to meet. But yeah, so he is a way different character in this movie than he is in, like, he always plays a smart ass because that's what he's good at. But like, he's like a kind of just like a more hateful smart ass in this movie. I think this is the most, dude, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like the most negative he is in a movie for the most part. Like, as far as like, you know what I mean? And he wasn't he was a big star, but he really hadn't been in that many movies at this point.
well, that's the thing I noticed about this. It's like, compared to like other action movies from this time or even like currently, this is pretty fucking nihilistic in a way.
Yeah, dude,
like,
it is. Yeah. A pretty crazy intro credit sequence with a guy singing not the fucking Monday Night Football song. Action packed. Had to spend several $100,000 on just that intro sequence alone, because it had like basically CGI in there too. And then you have the biggest football star probably in this movie murder a couple of people and then himself on live TV. Yeah. And then now this, and this movie is very, very fucking nihilistic. Like, I've got a couple things. One thing in the script pulled up. This, like, Jesus Christ, this movie had a definite fucking tone, and it was not a happy one for the most part. But yeah, Joe Hallenbeck, he's quite a different character, but I like him because that's one thing about this movie that I like is an hour and 45, but like you get a lot of information and you can kind of see where he's coming from. Like that, I would say the writing's pretty good in this movie is basically my point. But like apparently this movie had a fucking very troubled production, right? Like, do you know anything about that?
Yeah, well, it was
about that.
So you had like a bunch of like people at the height of their power. So you had Bruce Willis. He's probably like one of the biggest action stars at the time. You had it produced by Joel Silver, who is, you know, one of the biggest producers at the time. And you probably had Tony Scott, who was probably pretty big at the time as well. And I think it's just like a three-way clash with all of those, and just getting the movie made the way they want and not wanting to like give in, really, especially Joel Silver. But then I've also heard like Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans didn't really like each other either. So it's like it's a bunch of big egos clashing, and that seems like pretty par for the course for like big movies like this. You always hear about that. Yeah.
But the cool thing is, though, is whatever they did, they kept it professional somehow, because the end result, in my opinion, is a fucking fantastic movie. But yeah, so got Joe Hallenbeck here. We're introduced to him. He's like a down on his luck PI. I guess he used to be in the police force. He used to be, you find out later, he was in the Secret Service, and he interfered where he shouldn't. So that's why he's now a piece of shit, making love to dead squirrels in his car.
And I didn't really notice in that other one where they kind of look like they're trying to. So he's like basically sexually assaulting someone, the guy he's protecting, right? And the politician, and then that politician, like, he gets his comeuppance a little bit in the movie, but he's not like one of the villains. Like, he's not really that connected to the villain plot of the movie, unless, you know, you talk about the assassination attempt. But and honestly, he was not taking a bribe, so he honestly didn't even do anything. He was definitely involved in, like, he was not, he didn't have play a big part in the movie, but he was literally connected to everything else, the other threads of the movie. But I mean, to me, he was just beating the shit out of the girl. Like, he just had her strung up and he was just like punching her. Like, that he probably wasn't using some fingers at some point, I'm sure, but like, you know, it's like when you physically are just standing at, it's like, I would kind of see that. I'm Bruce Willis, I'm staying outside, and I keep hearing, oh, like, I would probably step in at some point. Just humanity would kick in, and I'd be like, man, I can't do that. But anyways, then we meet our other half of our character, which is Damon Wayans. Jimmy Dix.
He plays Jimmy Dix. And his story was he used to be a ball player. He was actually the best running back, or he was like the best quarterback for the fake team that he plays for. And he's doing some drugs here. This is important to his character. He does drugs. And what drugs are those? I think I take some of that shit for my guts. Uh-oh, the blowjob.
When I was a kid, I was just thinking he was trying to drown this poor woman, and he threw a football at his face. But it's like, I didn't understand what's blowing mean. But
she's
it's
not
like,
coming up till she starts blowing. Oh,
you can definitely tell this is a 1991 movie from this scene alone. My God.
She ain't coming up till she starts blowing. Ray, she's gonna drown, man.
Hey, fuck you, you loser!
Let her go, Ray.
I mean, what are you doing here anyway? This is a league party. You got kicked out, remember? Huh? Remember? Oh.
Well, see what I mean by the two tones? The top's always orange, the bottom's always blue. See that? In like almost every Tony Scott movie. Hell, basically anything that every movie that's shot in LA now basically stole this from them. Like, I think, because like you watch like CSI Miami or some shit, it kind of looks the same, has that two shift hue. But yeah, so he was kicked out of the league for sports betting. But it's funny that his introduction here is he's at a party for the team, but like he's not on the team anymore. So I guess he's just like hanging the fuck out because like it almost looks like he lives here with these people. But he got so how far
that's
like how long ago did he get kicked out of the league? Like recently? I don't think it was recently. It had to be like a year or something ago. But so he's like, is he like the guy that already graduated that comes back to all the senior parties and shit? It's kind of weird. I don't know. I didn't really ever understand what that was about. But so he's our other half of the movie, and this was kind of at the height of his popularity too, or a lot of it, because I mean he'd already been on Saturday Night Live. He was in Beverly Hills Cop in a small ass scene. Would you like some of these bananas? He was that guy. He was in SNL.
He was in SNL. I didn't even know that.
Dude, yeah, he got himself fired on purpose because he played a cop character during a sketch live as an effeminate gay character, like on purpose. He wasn't supposed to play it that way, so he's like playing it, and they can't like stop it because it's a live sketch. And then they basically walked him because he didn't want to be in there anymore.
Country, and I guarantee results. If the Parker brothers could see you now, they puke. Why you ain't in jail, Miss? Oh, that's right, you missed the Monopoly.
That's literally, he's on one of the SNL documentaries for like when they were doing the 50th. He's in one of those. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, so and then he was in Living Color at this time. So and he had already done like I think 1 or 2 different hour-long stand-ups. Like I know he did one on HBO, and then, but yeah, so he's like at the height of his popularity too. And so you get like it's like a buddy cop film, but he's not a cop. He's just this guy hanging out with former team members. But was you a fan of the dynamic with these two, like in the movie anyways? Because I think it, basically does make the movie a lot better than it has any right to be.
Yeah, I am. I mean, they don't like each other from the start, of course, that dynamic, but I think they played well off each other. I mean, I couldn't even tell that they'd had any animosity making this movie, and
yeah, it's kind of what I meant by like the the professionalism. At least they pulled it together to get the scenes done,
Yeah, and then Damon Wayans is known as a comedian at the time. I think he did a pretty good job for such a dramatic role as well.
Yeah. But so, yeah, we get introduced to his character there, and then we come back to Joe, and you get to see him using his detective skills, basically, to find out that the guy he gets all his jobs from is porking his old lady. This is actually I fucking love this scene. So, and also I want to note, I can't remember her name, but that's Tila from the Masters of the Universe, the first live action movie. That's
okay,
Tila.
Cool. I thought I recognized her.
Oh, what the hell's her name? I don't think she's terrible in this movie. I just fucking... It's so fucking funny how all they do is just literally yell at each other. And then to have the gall to even try to correct your daughter for like being a bitch. It's like, look how you guys are all the fucking time around each other.
Exactly. Everyone's fucking miserable in this.
Why do you think she'd be the way she is? Why do you think she's drawing Satan claws? She's help, and she ain't getting it from you. You know what I mean? It's just so you don't see that when you're a kid, but when you're like, God, man, God damn, like, and then here's her dad pulling a fucking gun out about to kill this dude. I'm glad she's at school right now. You know what I mean? Because like, holy shit. But so yeah, and then what else was this guy on? Was it Animal House? That wasn't the movie he was on, was it? The guy that's playing his boss
guy
here?
who's like he's dressed
D-Day?
up as like
is
a
this
general or something. Or
I think it's D-Day. I always forget his
Animal
name.
House. Bruce
McGill. Okay. Yeah, Bruce McGill. Okay, yeah, that was him. But yeah, he's a pretty good character actor. But yeah, so this shows you just how unhinged this motherfucker is, and you definitely can tell this guy does not give a fuck about pretty much anything going on in his life right now. He probably is just waiting to die, and he's probably thinking, I'll just kill this guy, and then when the cops come, I'll just go down a hail of gunfire. I love that look right there. It's a great look. Yeah, I knew it was you, fuckface. He's like, I fucking knew it was you. Like, I just went through. But that's kind of also why maybe he isn't that crazy. He just acts that way to control the narrative. Because he probably fucking knew. You know what I mean? So it adds another so in another roundabout way, it's just showing you how great that Joe Hallenbeck, to me, I just like more than I like his character from Die Hard, which I can't remember his fucking movie and his name in that. But that movie was good. Of course, it went on to have 100 sequels and shit, but by the end, who cared? But I always just had a penchant for this movie because it just has it has so much more jammed into it, but it doesn't feel like it's too much. Does it to you? You know do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I think I don't think as a kid I really understood the plot. I was just watching it on surface level.
Oh yeah.
Watching it as an adult, the plot, I mean, it's not bad at all. I like that. Like they're, and it's funny because they're trying to legalize gambling, right? That's like the main plot of it.
Yeah.
And
and
basically
here we are
legalize gambling with fucking DraftKings and fucking video games, So I found that
Christ,
kind of
it's
amusing.
terrible. Yep.
But
yeah,
he gives he gives him another job, which he gets blown up after he gives him that job, and that job is supposed to be him setting the Bruce Willis character up to get killed anyway. So it's basically he was still trying to fuck him over.
Yeah. Do you think he was actually trying to get him? Did he understand the danger? Do you think?
I think so. He wanted to get him killed to get him out of the picture to be with his wife. That's what I mean.
Yeah, and he says this much later on in the movie, but I do love that. I do love that line that, man, you're a fucked up dude. You're trying to save the life of the guy that ruined your life, and you're trying to avenge the death of the guy that fucked your wife. Yeah, what a fucking movie. But yeah, so he gets blown the fuck up. So, and then now it's become kind of like a conspiracy. Now he's not involved. Well, he is, because the case was to go and see Halle Berry's character, and then that's where they finally meet. Look at that. Pre-work done Halle Berry. Still beautiful. Look at that hat. What a great hat. He was wearing a nice hat. Look at
Crazy.
that.
The Oscar and
she's
Razzie award-winning actress.
She still looks good though, man.
Oh yeah.
Too bad she gets a bad in this movie, but yeah. So, and I do like her character in this movie because she kind of just gives it back to him because she has to deal with fucking assholes all the time. So her dealing with him in this, I just love the back and forth they have for just a little bit. Paul, play that funky music, white boy. She just kind of hits him with her ass, just fucking, I deal with you. You motherfuckers are a dime a dozen. You don't know how the fuck you got it, because it's almost like they work the same sides of the different coin, or two different sides of the same coin, I should say.
Well, I mean, you gotta hand it to her with this being probably her first movie role. She's basically holding her own with Bruce Willis, the smart ass, fucking super cynical Bruce Willis. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then look, his hat's got a ponytail, man. I never got that.
I think you could use that. I think you could rock that hat with the.
But I would be hiding all this. I don't like to hide this though. I'll just grow a ponytail. I could probably just grow a ponytail.
You should have bought this. You should have bought this hat for this review. It's like,
fuck, dude. I probably could just make it. I've got underwear at home. I can just cut. And then, hey, okay. Eddie Griffin, right? Okay. I have read the script for this movie several times. This character is specifically in the script described as a knockoff Eddie Murphy character in the script.
It's like,
what perfect casting.
I can see that. Yeah, exactly.
Eddie Griffin. Fucking, that shit makes me laugh.
Great value, so he has Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, but he has like a small, little role. I don't know if you want to call it a cameo or whatever, but he was known at this time, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so then this is where you find out.
Well, I like to go back with the line where he was like Damon Wayans is asking about the Bruce Willis character, and she says, "You're nobody," and he's like, "Shh, don't tell anyone."
Yeah. He goes, "Shh, don't tell anybody." Yeah.
Hi. You're nobody. Don't tell anyone.
But then you get kind of introduced here as to like why he's kind of, you get the hints first off of why he's disheveled. You get this nice angular shot here.
Oh yeah,
How
the flashback.
Hey, how fucking
Baynard.
funny would this be? I need to do this. And here's another fun fact about me. Guess who just rewatched Predator 2 again like 2 days ago? This guy. Put the Predator up there on that ledge getting shot by like screaming. That'd be a crossover. Yeah, Last Boy Scout Predator 2 crossover.
All right. So I'm against AI slop and everything, but once they start making where you can make your own movies with AI, I want to make a crossover between Predator and The Last Boy Scout. Like, make this movie for me. For my own enjoyment, okay?
Once it starts, it's just, there's not much slowdown either. It's fucking just beat by beat by beat. Like, this is like peak Shane Black, in my opinion. Such a great... You're never bored. That's my thing with like the bad guys. Everyone, you never see these guys again. I find that's a good way to keep it interesting is they, if you, but just by giving little bit parts, just a little bit of personality, it kind of keeps those deadbeats from happening. Or not, it's kind of a pun, but I mean like,
a lot of these are character actors I've seen in a lot of other movies. Like, like you said earlier, Kim Coates, just like the henchmen are like pretty well cast in this. Yeah.
Like, and going back to just when, you know, and now we have all, like, so much of this shit would just be CGI'd. But like, look at just the, man, with the steam and just, I don't know. But so now we've got to where they have become, you know, linked because they're both basically working on the same case. So, and this is where you get to meet I guess that's his old boss, because he was on the police force. He used to be a detective, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, it's like the pissed off lieutenant, the staple of 80s and 90s buddy cop movies. So,
but it's funny because this one's dumb. Like, this one's ignorant. You know what I mean? They're not usually portrayed as like the guy that gets killed next to him that Milo kills is like, he's like more, you know, he's probably smarter. You know what I mean? But
with one of the best lines of the movie is like, "Yes, officer.
Oh yeah, there's too many bullets in this gun."
Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, Jesus, they just kabam.
Good morning, gentlemen. Is there a problem?
Yes, officer. As a matter of fact, there is a problem. Apparently, there are too many bullets in this gun.
Yeah, he was like the Secret Service for a politician. He was beating the shit out of a woman, and then non-consensually, I should say, because people kind of like that in a consensual matter. But yeah, he beats the shit out of the politician, and it basically gets him like blackballed from everything. And that's why he's a private detective with an alcohol problem. He's kind of like, he did save. Who did he save? The president as a Secret Service.
Yeah,
and he took a bullet for him.
Because you see later on, like it's like a Jimmy Carter guy, a guy that looks like Jimmy Carter. That's basically who he was the Secret Service for. Because it looked, he was, and then he was protecting that senator, and he got involved, and then that guy got him to lose his job or whatever.
Oh yeah, like Damon Wayans is like trying to force this partnership with him. Like, he doesn't want anything to do with Jimmy Dix.
Yeah,
he's like, I can do this shit by myself. And then he just, they're looking for clues and stuff, and he's just there to get his fucking drugs. Jimmy Dix is. So.
Pretty much, but that's the best. That's also the best thing though, is like later on when they go. So this right here, you're finding out that she was blackmailing the owner of the LA Stallions because she wanted to get him his Jimmy Dix's job back, and she has proof that he is trying to bribe that senator that got Joe Hallebeck to lose his job, she's got proof that they're colluding. So that's where that was going. That's where they're linked together now. They killed Corey because that was how they could prevent that from happening. But now they still have to solve the murder of his friend and all the other stuff. Why is everything linked? That's basically the longest way.
Yeah, he tried to take Halle Berry's other car, but then it was rigged to blow up, and she took the one that wasn't rigged. So yeah, basically Bruce Willis saved Damon Wayans, and then he puts that C4, or is it C4, or is it like
it
plastic?
is basically it's plastic explode. It's the same shit.
Yeah, and then he puts it on the trunk there to hide it from.
That was my point earlier. Is every single time they run into bad guys, it's like a different set of them. They're not recycling bad guys like beat 'em up games.
No, and the fucking flaming car comes rolling down at him.
So, and that's already like, how many explosions have we seen already in this movie?
Fuck,
man.
What was the budget on this movie? Shit.
We've seen 2 cars explode already. Lots of gunfire, jeez, and we're not even halfway through it yet. Like, insane. All this would be CGI. Just insane.
Yeah.
Real actors, real blood. It's when they go to Joe's house, and you get to meet his daughter. She's pleasant. Played by Danielle Harris, Scream Queen. She was on Roseanne. I think this yeah, she was in one of the Halloween movies, right?
She was in 2 of them. Yeah, she was like, she was in Roseanne. Yeah, she was like in a lot. Because
the first thing I ever saw her in was Roseanne, and then I saw her in this, and she's obviously younger in this than she was, because she was like a teenager in Roseanne. Well, she may be here, I don't know, but yeah, the perfect role, perfectly cast here. I fucking love it.
Talk to my kid. So come on, let me hear all the really juicy, dirty words. Come on.
God, you're such a fuck up.
Damn it, Darian. You are my daughter, and you are in my house, and you will respect me. You got that? You don't ever call me a fuck up.
Why shouldn't I? Mom calls you in all the time.
Like, the people that know him best, like, yeah, shut the fuck up, you know. Well, Halle Berry didn't know him, but she just is like one of those seasoned assholes, you know. And then they have so he's, Joe's offering a place for him to crash, and then here in a little bit, Joe finds out that he's using drugs in his home with his daughter right there. So he tells him a sob story about, now they're yelling at each other. They're bonding a little bit, but then he kind of breaks their trust by using drugs, and Joe you see where Joe has some fucking standards and kicks him out of his house. That's kind of some character development. Like, he'll drink and do all kinds of other shit, but drugs is where he crosses, or is like crossing the line, especially, his kids there, his family's there, so that makes sense. So I think it's honestly a good scene.
Wayans is really good in that scene. Like, especially he's just basically known as a comedian, a comedic actor.
You're right. This is a good scene. He gets to show some acting chops here, and Damon Wayans has gone on and done some pretty good acting and some other shit too.
Starts out painkillers, using Demerol because your fucking knees are shot. Before you know it, you're chewing codeine with your pancakes. And then a truck comes out of nowhere, and you're talking to God. And you're saying, hey, help me out, big guy. I pay taxes. I go to church. What's with this dead wife and kid shit?
This has always been like my favorite role of his. This or like Major Payne. Major Payne's a completely different kind of movie. But
I have partial to Blank Man.
Oh, God, dude, yeah. Blank Man's a great fucking movie. That's such a good movie.
David Allen
I forgot about that. Yeah. Yep. And who's the bad guy in that movie? It's a white dude.
Joe Polito. There you go.
Oh, Joe Polito. Yeah, and he's also in The Big Lebowski. Yep. Okay. But, so, let's see. But basically, you kind of see their differences, but you also find out here, which once again, Joe Hallenbeck doesn't want to show his emotions, but like you kind of find out that Jimmy Dix was his favorite player. Like literally just right here. Like he fucking loved you, man. She's kind of telling him, but he kept it professional, even though he's like a wastoid, broke down piece of shit motherfucker right now. Like but he just still has those kind of standards. So that's kind of cool. So we got Kim Coates, and then the tall guy. I can't remember what his name is, but I'm gonna bring him up in a little bit.
Frank Collison. He plays Pablo, and
Pablo.
Kim Coates,
That's it.
He plays Chet.
Chet. Okay. Booyah, my baby.
Sure thing, buddy.
Gonna need a light. If you touch me again, I'll kill you. Bamba, baby!
But yeah, now finally we get to the best shit. Our introduction to the best character in this entire fucking movie, Milo, played by the late and the great Taylor Negron. Now, this guy was a very prolific character actor and also a pretty prolific comedian. I caught a couple of his stand-ups he did that was really funny. He does this one bit. There's a movie about comedy that came out in like the late 80s, I think. Is it called Comedian or something? What the fuck is it called? But he's doing a bit about like Middle Eastern guys selling rugs. And it's a pretty funny bit. It's only like a minute long bit, but
What I like to do sometimes, I like to piss off Iranians. I like to piss off Middle Eastern people. It's called punk terrorism. And what I do, right, is I go downtown to carpet stores, and I walk into the place and I say, "Hi, I want carpet, but I don't have the square footage." And the Iranian guy will say, "You don't want carpet, you want an Arag."
so he has never played a role like this or since after this, and he passed away several years ago. Rest in peace. But this fucking motherfucker, dude, in this movie is brutal. Now, his introduction in this movie is wildly different in the script. Did you ever read the script to this?
No, I didn't. I know the script is wildly different, like the original script, because apparently, like, even though I'm saying this movie is like much more nihilistic seeing it now, apparently the script is even worse.
So Milo's introduction in the movie is, interior, plush bedroom, night. A tall, thin, almost effeminate man is seated on a couch, high cheekbones, a shock of blonde hair, glittering, malignant eyes. He is directing a pornographic film. Now, I'm just going to describe the rest of this basically. But what the porn scene is pretty girl is bound hand and foot to the posts of a lavishly appointed bed. Around her, the room is filled with Klieg lights, reflectors, camera equipment. The girl is scowling furiously. She speaks to the director. "I want the sheets changed, Milo." "Of course you do, but we're running behind, dear." "I don't give a shit. I'm an actress, not a piece of meat, and I want clean sheets." "Fine, it's done right after this next shot." A strident beeper goes off on Milo's belt. He turns to the two-man crew and claps his hands for attention. "Okay, let's do it. Beat. Roll camera. Cameraman rolling. And action." The closet door opens. A hulking man emerges. He is carrying a chainsaw. The girl on the bed stares incredulous. "Milo, what the fuck is this? Some kind of joke?" "Milo, not at all, dearest. It's what's known as a snuff film." The hulking man pulls the starter cord. The saw roars to life. "Oh God, Milo, please, oh God, no." A smile twitches
Christ
on Milo's upper lip. "Milo, easy, Pablo. She's not a piece of meat." He exits, closes the soundproof door behind him. That was his introduction in the original script. And I bring Pablo up because he was the guy with the chainsaw. like that's the first time you see him on camera in the script. So that's what I mean. So long story short, that's how fucking sadistic this guy is in the script. You already just hear how sadistic of a motherfucker he is in the movie. But it's like, for some reason, it's just like entrancing. like, I still want to have a drink with this guy. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? The way he like carries himself or whatever else. But and he always if he never uses the short version of people's names. Look how well he's dressed. L.A. That's what does to people. He's just walking around just like, we're just kidnapping a guy. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I knew the original script had a bunch of snuff stuff in it, and that he was threatening.
I think that's the
Bruce
only
Willis's.
scene that refers to it.
Well, I think in the script there was, from what I've read, I didn't read the script, but that he was threatening his wife, Bruce Willis's wife and daughter, with the snuff film. So
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did say that. Yeah. So that's Milo. He's a cop killer. That's his introduction into the film. Oh, bad boy, Joseph.
I think the script probably goes a little too far with the nihilism.
They definitely they were right to reel a lot of that stuff in, but so he's not introduced until like halfway through the film, but like all his interactions you get with him, and he basically is the main antagonist from this point, because there kind of really isn't one until this point, because he's the right arm of, Shelley Marcone, right? He works for Marcone.
Yeah.
So, which only goes to show you how fucking crazy Shelley Marcone is, and he carries himself like a eat shit, you fucking redneck. I love that fucking line. Oh, little girl, come over here and sit on Uncle. Suck my clit, bitch. She'll say that, but I fucking love this movie.
Eat shit, you fucking redneck!
Tell me your thoughts about Milo.
He's like probably the best part of the movie for me. Like Taylor Negron. I never seen him in another role like this. Like, I think this could have, it's kind of a shame that this movie was kind of like a financial failure, but it seemed to have a new life on video and HBO and everything. But I'm always kind of like sad that Taylor Negron wasn't just more of a prolific character actor, because I've seen him in other things. I'm like, I'm that Leonardo DiCaprio meme, like Taylor Negron, Milo. Like it was nothing like he had like a small role in like Curb Your Enthusiasm or something. But just after seeing him in this, it's like, man, I wanted to see more of this guy doing stuff like this. Like, and we just never really got it. He was in like
artist.
Biodome.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, this guy was like he painted. So that means, Wes, we could own Taylor Negron artwork.
Yeah.
Bro.
I'd be down.
And I'm not even memeing. Like, if we for some reason made a career from this and we had offices, we would have a Taylor Negron piece right in the fucking front. The foyer, dude.
Absolutely.
Damn. That would be awesome.
I hope he painted himself as Milo. That would be mine. I mean, hell, you had like Milo, who's like the standout in this, and then you have Kim Coates, who he is a prolific character actor in a lot of shit. Like Sons of Anarchy. He was in that American Primeval that just came out on Netflix, which is really good.
See, for some reason, I always thought this guy was the same guy that was trying to pick up the girl in Uncle Buck at the bowling alley, but they're two different people.
I could see that. He's got
because
the
guy spinning the toothpick.
His...
Yeah. They look pretty similar. I love how did you see that? There's blood coming out of his ear right after that happens. So it's a headshot.
Yeah.
See that?
The nose bone right to the brain.
Baby! Oh, baby!
We got a tooth.
Kill him! You fucking ain't kill him, he's dead!
Yeah, fuck you. Told you. Jesus H. Christ, he killed him! He's dead! He don't give a shit. He's just like, okay, so another mook died. I don't care. But also a great scene here, because they just get to fucking blow each other. So, you're the fucking bad guy, right? Yeah, I'm the bad guy. Something like that. Goddamn.
Can we do a formal introduction
Who
here?
gives a fuck? You're the bad guy, right?
I am the bad guy.
And I'm supposed to be trembling with fear, something like that?
Something like
Fine. I'll start trembling in a minute.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's just like they're just so polar opposites. It's like he's just like this fucking dude that sleeps in his car. Bruce Willis is just disheveled and shit. And then you got Milo, who's like this pristine guy of, you know, supposed class and everything. And
Yeah.
just seeing their
Carries himself
interactions
well.
together, it's just like, yeah.
Oh my god. But so the back half of this movie is now they're basically trying to stop Marcone, because you find out here the actual whole plan. That would have killed somebody. But the whole plan is since the Senator Boehner will not take a bribe, they're gonna kill him and they're gonna frame Joe Hallebeck for the murder, and no one's really gonna look into it because he's such a deadbeat piece of shit.
That's when he reveals like the thing with the gambling and
yeah. That he's
football.
like he hasn't decided if he's for or against it yet. He's playing both fields there. Like, it's just a statement about I've reviewed both reports equally, and I don't know who's offering me more money yet. But
and then they're going to kill him and blame it on Joe. They're going to kill him and frame Joe, and then they don't have to worry about him anymore.
Yeah. So now they're getting ready to do the deal here for the bribe money, but they're going to switch the briefcases. Yeah, this entire fucking part here is the shit. Hey, how's it going, Flash? Rescue attempt? The way he fucking says that shit, it just as he says, suck my dick. What? Hey, Flash, rescue attempt? The guy's just so reserved with that. Okay, I'm gonna die, so fucking what?
Hey, Flash. Rescue attempt? Blow me.
But yeah, and then her just like her being sadistic, like god damn, she's like barking like a dog at him and panting and shit. Like, do you understand what the fuck's going on right now? Your dad's about to be dead. You're making jokes about a guy's dog.
You stay here. I'm gonna go look around. Stay.
The spit. Anyone bother to frisk this fuck?
It's just the best. It's just the fucking best. I just love. That's what made me. I was like, I love this guy. This motherfucker rules.
Excuse me. Did any of you stupid shits bother to frisk this fuck?
So now we're finally to like the last part of the movie where all the great shit happens. Some more back and forth with these two.
It's almost flirtatious in a way.
That's what I mean. That's what I like. It's just like he keeps trying to get under his skin and he won't. Like, I just don't look at me. Look at my face, motherfucker. What are you gonna do to me? Because he keeps getting mashed in the fucking face with guns and shit every time he gets kidnapped. Then they just go back on to carrying on like they're drinking a beer together.
You think you're so fucking cool, don't you? You think you're so fucking cool. Well, just once, I would like to hear you scream in pain.
Play some rap music.
Oh yeah, the daughter comes in and basically rescues them because there's a gun hidden in fucking Furry Tom, which is the name of the puppet, Furry Tom.
Why did Mr. Milo cross the road?
I don't know why.
Because his dick was stuck in a chicken.
Furball?
Yeah. Furry Tom thinks this is probably the first pussy a lot of you guys have seen in a long time. Especially this fat fuck over here. Where'd you get this suit, Grandpa? Gangsters arrest?
And a pretty good fucking scene here. But then he gets shot in the fucking head. Kabap! He didn't make it.
It's like,
because we found out
he's
Milo.
like, I'm taking your car. He's like, no. I was like, I want to shoot this girl in the head. He's like,
Yeah.
He's like,
Okay.
Hey, you got a car?
Yeah.
Give me the keys.
No way.
Give me the keys or I shoot the kid.
Daddy.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, all right, let's go. Come on.
So now they're trying to warn dude that he's got a bomb and they're heading to the stadium and gonna blow a bunch of fucking people up. Do you like this movie honestly better than like Die Hard? Or would you say Die Hard's a better movie? Okay. You think Die Hard's the better movie?
Oh yeah. It's probably one of the greatest action movies of all time. Hell, I would like, with competition, I would probably put Die Hard against Predator. Is like, I think I probably give Die Hard a slight edge over Predator for better action movie. But
okay.
Yeah. I mean, Die Hard is just, it's almost like masterful how that's made.
Yeah. But yeah, this has been always a movie that you and I bond over a lot because it's just one of those movies. For me, it's something I can watch at least 2 or 3 times a year, like all the way through. And I don't even like second screen it. I sit and watch it because I don't, just every part of it's so, and it makes me miss that style of movie making. Like you just aren't going to get movies like that again. And I'm not saying that necessarily every one of those movies like that was better than what we're getting now, but it's like, geez, when you see the style of, or the type of work they put into it, and just fuck, I don't know. And then Milo, dude, like, well, I didn't gush enough about Milo, but it's like, it's not even just about that to me. It's the fact that you have such a performance from a guy who was pretty much unknown to most people. Most people will be like, that's the guy that delivered the pizza at Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And that's how most people honestly really know him, because he was that guy. Or he was in, he was the shampoo guy in a Seinfeld episode. I think people know him. He actually did a movie, or I think he did like a stand-up tour, or he wrote a book like I'm That Guy, or it's called something like that, where it's like everyone can picture where they know him from. But I actually would like to read that book. But so like I didn't know who this guy was. I saw his performance as Milo. I think this is that, so this guy must play this type of role in every movie. Not only that, but it's the very opposite of that, and he only ever was that type of guy in one movie ever. And it was like, it's so fucking perfect, and we only ever got that, like, you know, it's like kind of like you were saying, because we didn't do it. He never got anything more. I don't think he ever played another bad guy in a movie. He always was just like a comedic role usually, you know, like he was openly gay, but I don't think he ever like played like openly gay characters or anything.
Yeah.
He was always more of just like like not quirky's not really the right word, I don't think. Like sometimes he'd play a guy with an accent because he looks, you know, he kind of looks like you could put him from somewhere like Greece or somewhere, you know, but then, yeah. So then when you go and you do the research and you find out he wasn't like that guy at all. He was this other, is like, makes you respect that performance more. And then just the sadistic way in which he plays them. And then, yeah, the way him and Bruce Willis play off of each other. Cause it's just some suave guy that probably got played with a little too much when he was a kid, and he's got a really bad chip on his shoulder, and he's going to kill everybody, make sure they know it. Like, it just, for this type of movie, is like, yeah, that's the kind of bad guy that lives in LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he really elevates. He's just, you know, every great action movie needs a great villain, like Hans Gruber in Die Hard, where we're just bringing it up. And he is a great bad guy. He's a great villain. He's got great lines, and he's got a great death in that helicopter. And like, that's one of the most fucking awesome deaths. And it's funny how he's kind of like he's like the right-hand man of the actual main bad guy, but he's like the defining feature of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some notes on like the darker stuff from the earlier the script.
Okay.
So it said it had a much grittier, tragic finale. I guess like Joe Hallenbeck was originally like more self-destructive. I don't see how. Like, how do you get more self-destructive than he already was? You know, and the redemption arc was like much bleaker apparently. And they said Milo's death is more brutal. How much more fucking brutal can you get than like falling into a helicopter blade? You know, and
I don't know.
Turning into like bloody mists. It said instead of falling to his death, Joe shot him mid-sentence, cutting him off before he could say something. So I don't know if that's more brutal.
Well, right now they're on a boat.
in the finale.
Hang on. Jimmy looks, a bright object going in circles. That's Baynard's boat. It can get us to shore faster than this one, don't you think? Yeah, they're on a boat right now. Yeah, exterior Baynard's boat. Senator's boat. Okay, so this must have took place out on the seas instead of in the stadium originally. There's Milo, but it doesn't. Yeah, it's definitely a different ending. I just found they're literally about to snuff Sarah in a snuff film. I found that. Yeah, so that was in there. Yeah, they're about to cut that bitch up. Milo, you fucked up my face, Joseph. Wow, so he was vain. Okay, I wondered why he didn't have more to say about it. Try to hide, Joseph. I've got all night. You fucked up my face. You see? Oh, Sarah kills Sarah. You just fucking die. She fires again, and Milo reels backward, leaves a bloody smudge on the billboard. She drops the hammer again and again, empties the gun. Milo jerks and twitches, racked by gunfire, paints a bloody stripe across the billboard, making Gorgeous's bloody buns even bloodier. Clutches himself, looks over at Hallenbeck. Hallenbeck, she's something, isn't she? Milo pitches forward, falls to his death. So Sarah kills him, and they're on a billboard. So yeah, so that's in this script that I'm looking at anyway. I'm sure there's probably different revisions or whatever, but yeah, definitely a grittier fucking movie for sure.
Yeah, you were talking about how many explosions there were just like the first half hour, and it said that studio executives demanded a more commercial, action-heavy climax. So yeah, that's why they're at the football stadium, and probably why there's so many explosions throughout the whole movie, especially the beginning. Yeah, and then I don't know, some competition that came out that year: Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Point Break, Ricochet, Out for Justice. They all released the same year.
Yeah.
A lot of action movies. So, yeah, I guess the excessive violence and profanity stirred controversy for the movie. I mean, I can kind of see how early 90s. I mean, I'm kind of like taken aback now watching it. So like,
it's nuts. It's pretty violent, and there's a lot of fuck words in it. That's for sure.
Yeah, but so to you, what watching it today, what are some of the strengths you see in it, and some of the weaknesses you see in it? Like, I know you love the movie.
I mean, the strengths I see are almost the same as the weaknesses. It's like a buddy action movie, but that was almost a weakness at that point because we had a lot of them at that point. I don't know if they were at their like apexis or not, or apex or whatever you want to say. And it was, I think, the biggest strength about this movie, because it's also kind of a formulaic, buddy action movie. It's got the same beats. They cut, they cut a damsel in distress out of it. I think that was a good thing. Keep the wife just this bitch, I guess, and they made it more about just like I think the motivations behind the characters was a little better than most movies. It's not just, Hallenbeck knows he's a piece of shit, but he just can't let some shit go. But the reason he's a piece of shit, he acts like it's everybody else, but it's just like his wife keeps saying, you give it up on yourself. That's what it is. That's literally what it is. Like, he just doesn't. That's why she's cheating on him, because it's like, you don't give a fuck about anything else. You're just whatever. So, and then, so I think making it about, keeping his ruinous relationship to a B plot, I think, is a lot better. It's like his redemption arc, the motivations behind his redemption are better. They're the least, I think, formulaic part of the movie, in a pretty obvious, honestly, kind of a formulaic movie. It really is. You got the white cop, you got the black wisecracking wise ass. That had been done 3 or 4 times already at that point. Fuck, you had 2 48 hours movies. You had 2 Lethal Weapons come out. Now that's 4 movies right there, where you had you have a white and a black. Well, but even the dynamics a little bit different. But what cuts it through is like, kind of like you said earlier, it's a very nihilistic fucking movie. Like, it's just like every single fucking person in this movie is miserable as shit, but you understand why, and I think the way it shows it, like the ending at the end, he's like, you can spit in my face, I'll buy a dog, like, she's just like, and he's just smirking like, yeah, I don't think that relationship's going to last anyway, but still, I have hope,
Yeah.
So I think that's the
90s.
biggest. Yeah. I mean, but like I said, that's kind of, I think the biggest strengths are the biggest weak, because I like those kind of movies. I like a buddy action movie. Like, I don't want to say buddy cop movie because they weren't cops. It was just a buddy action movie, but there were a lot,
mismatched. Mismatched kind of pairing, kind of like, I don't know, 48 Hours or.
The cinematography is fucking phenomenal in this movie. And just every shot is so good. I think that them fucking with you, just roasting each other, that's great. You have a well-written, just a great villain like that with Milo. And then, I don't give a fuck about the goddamn, Shelley Marcone and Baynard. And that's all just a means to an end. And, I mean, I wish we could have got to Milo sooner. Maybe could be a weakness. And that's not just me saying that because I like that character. Well, it is and it isn't. I just think you hear his voice a couple times on phone calls. You never see him until like literally almost the third half of the third act. Basically, he's the third act, really. So I think introducing him a little earlier might have been bet, because that might kind of fuck with people too, as like, well, where'd this guy come from? How come he's doing everything now? You know what I mean? But like, when you go back and watch a movie, you know why. You recognize the person on the other end of the phone. So, but what about you? What do you think about the strengths and the weaknesses?
Oh man, I still really enjoy it because it's just so fucking highly entertaining. Like you said, everything's elevated. It's Shane Black. Probably peak Shane Black in my opinion, even though his original script is super fucked up. You have Tony Scott, great vision for the cinematography, everything, just his style. I love his style. And, I think there's a great dynamic between Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans, and I think Milo is a fantastic villain, especially compared to Bruce Willis's character. And I don't know, it just like boggles my mind that it failed at the box office. Like, it's the peak time for action movies. Bruce Willis is like the top action star at the time. It's a fucking action movie with football in it, the most popular American sport. Like, and it failed. I don't understand. Like, I don't. I know. It's wild to me. But if I was gonna rate it today, I would probably still give it like 4.5 out of 5, but just because of how fucking entertaining it is. How you're never bored watching this movie. And no, even though there's like some things that probably hold it back, just dated stuff. It is a time capsule of like where we were at that time, like with action movies and stuff, and they definitely try to push the envelope with The Last Boy Scout. Like, this went harder than other action movies at the time, right? Like, hell, they were going to go even
fucking
further,
really hard.
Yeah, and even like pulling back from the original script, it's still pretty dark, and compared to a lot of action movies back then, like, it's not like they weren't R-rated, but this kind of, I don't know, it's just like all the characters are fucking miserable, but you kind of get it, it is like a 90s noir. It is very noir-like to me. So, I would give it like 4.5 out of 5. Part of that's probably nostalgia, sure, but I still fucking love this movie. Like, I love Taylor Negron's performance in it, and I just think it's a fucking blast. It's like, this is if I was going to show like anyone a 90s action movie, this would be it. Like, especially early 90s action movie. But where would you stand on this as a score?
I'd be 4.5 out of 5. I can't give it a perfect score. I mean, if I was going to be honest, I'd give it probably a 4, but me personally, 4 out of 5, just because I love this movie, and I think it probably would have benefited from coming out in the summer. Come out before T2. You know what I mean? Because T2 came out in August, right? Of that year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think.
I think so. During the summer, I'm pretty sure.
Because to be completely honest, if I, knowing me back then, like, I wasn't like a Bruce Willis guy. I was definitely an Arnold Schwarzenegger guy, though. I was like, fuck, I'll watch anything this guy's in, Bruce Willis, I was old enough to know that guy from Moonlighting because my mom used to watch Moonlighting all the time. That yeah, your mom did too. So there you go. So that's how Kevin Smith knew him. Like that's how. So most people that grew up of that time just knew him as this smarmy asshole guy, and then he was in fucking Die Hard, and it completely changed his dynamic. So
yeah,
but me back then, I'm like, I'm not gonna watch. I don't care. I'll go watch. I'll just watch T2 again. You know what I mean? Because fuck, it was probably still in theaters when this came out. So. But yeah, personally, it'd be 4 and a 5 or 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Cool. Yeah. Well, that's our review of The Last Boy Scout. We've been probably wanting to talk about this for a long time. So,
and we'll talk about it again. Like I said, this could have been like a whole we could have made a whole podcast episode about this because like there's just so much just some of the I mean, the lines, the dialogue is so fucking good. The fact that there's like 2 times in the goddamn movie that he just tells some knock jokes basically to get out of dying, but the guy don't want to live. Just like, and you just all. I say that I've said that cinematography before, but some of the shots, some of the angles that are like when he's looking up at the Baynard sign and it's not like level, it's like an angle, you know, and then like when they're out in the alley and he's about to shoot him, it's like that kind of angular overhead shot, and then like because like the nighttime scenes, it almost doesn't look like any of that's in LA. You know what I'm saying? Because LA's always shot a certain fucking way. Like there's always a bunch of, if you have to know it's LA because there's a bunch of neon and shit. It's nighttime. There's none of that there's not a whole lot of that in like The Last Boy Scout as far as like, so the nighttime is a good big stark contrast to how they filmed the daytime, and I think that kind of adds to it. It's just another little director's touch, I guess, or whatever. And then yeah, all the stunts. Fuck, I mean, I even thinking about that, like they must have. Well, considering they changed the ending to have more action. I get that, but it's like you had to have an entirely full football stadium, which probably wouldn't have been hard because you could have done it during a football game, but you would have had to say, hey, we're going to be filming parts of a movie here after this football game. So it's like, and they're going to have a goddamn helicopter there, which I think that was all on a crane and shit anyway. But, so it's like all the shit you had to go through to film a movie like that, even just an ending like that, is so admirable. And it's like, they're spending comparable money to do that with computers now. I still just don't understand why you don't just blow some fucking cars up every once in a while.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Too real, man.
Yeah.
Scare people with real shit.
I know.
Now, this being the 90s, you can't just walk up to a guy and smack him in the face. You gotta say something cool first, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I'll be back.
Yeah, only better than that. Like, if you hit him with a surfboard, you would say,
Surf's up, pal.
yeah, something like that.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss an update. If you want to support the channel and get exclusive content, check out our Patreon in the link below.